on FS1. Let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what's on the show today?
Hard to believe this is true, but there's a game tonight that will be the biggest game of the NBA season. No, I mean it. In 20 years, you may talk about it, or at least the player who's going to be the star, hopefully, in it. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. Odell Beckham Jr. reports the Giants' training facility today for the first day of their off-season workout program. There were reports last month that Odell would not set foot on a field without a new contract. Shannon, what does this mean?
Nothing, not much. New system, so I guess he goes in there, he learns the system, learns where he's going to be playing, all the terminology, the nuances of the offense. Then come training camp, he'll probably skip that. Then when the season starts, he'll be ready to play. It's hard for him, Skip, in a new system. Last year, he didn't show up because he already knew the system. He knew the verbiage. So I don't read a whole lot into this. Oh, Odell's going to be Odell. He wants that new contract. He's coming in good faith, but I would be surprised if he didn't hold out in training camp or something.
So to me, what's happening is that Odell realized his Hollywood option dried up because the Rams obviously chose Brandon Cooks. So he thought, maybe I better go back and show up on time and try to preserve my gig in New York. I still say the Giants would like to unload him, and I am not going to be surprised if he gets unloaded ahead of the draft when the Giants are going to relax their demands of they want 2 firsts. That's the report for Odell. I don't think you can get 2 firsts for him because he wants way too much money. So you'd have to pay draft choices and obviously
that's the
big
sticking
money,
point, Skip.
You know?
It's not the money. It's what you have to give up and the money on top of it. If I can just sign Odell, if somebody just says, okay, just take Odell, I don't think someone would have a problem giving him $60 million guaranteed. But to give up 2 ones or a first and a second or a first and a third, that's a steep price to give up as far as talent, plus to pay him on top of it.
So let us get to draft day and see if they back off because they really at heart want to get rid of him.
He looked good in the Cowboy uniform, Skip. Woo, Skip.
Popcorn for you. That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin Cowherd tells you why this week could make or break Russell Westbrook's future. The Herd starts now.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1, we have an unbelievable show today in 1 hour where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. There is a half dozen of both. Christine Leahy is joining me, as always, on a Monday in which we're getting real close to the NBA playoffs.
I know, the end of the season's coming up.
We got a lot going on today. Let me start with this. What I'm about to say is contrarian to what I've always said about the NBA regular season, is that it mostly doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong. The good teams, they rest starters. Golden State, you can tell they're kind of half into it. LeBron. For the young teams, Philadelphia Lakers, regular season means more. It means more. But tonight is a rare regular season NBA game where you have a veteran team, and it means everything. So Saturday night, Oklahoma City played the Houston Rockets. Now, the Houston Rockets rested 2 of their better players. Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson didn't play. Gordon's their 3rd best scorer. And Oklahoma City won. Now, after the game, the Rockets head coach admitted, for us, we've got our seeding. We're all good. This doesn't mean a ton.
I thought we tasted the playoff atmosphere because these guys are fighting for their lives, and we're not. And, it's human nature. There's no reward in winning.
Okay, fine. Now is tonight. Russell Westbrook and Oklahoma City go to Miami. The game means something for Miami, and Miami's pretty good. Not great, pretty good. Let me put this into context. If Russell Westbrook and Oklahoma City do not win tonight at Miami, there is a chance they won't make the playoffs. And there's an excellent chance they'll be tied with like Denver and Minnesota for the 8th spot in the West. Oh, wait a minute. That's a huge problem because Denver and Minnesota have the tiebreaker with Oklahoma City. This is not me picking on Russell Westbrook. Some people pick this team, Paul Pierce for one, is a dark horse NBA champion. I didn't, but I thought they'd be a 55-win team, 3rd seed, very good. If Russell Westbrook, the MVP, does not make the playoffs, with Paul George an all-star, Steven Adams, one of the top 5-6 bigs in the league, and a Hall of Famer in Carmelo Anthony, it will be the greatest NBA talent, the best collection of NBA players that couldn't make the playoffs. Try to name another. It will be Phi Slamma Jamma of college basketball. When I say Phi Slamma Jamma, you don't name the players. You say, how the hell did they not win a championship? Drexler, Akeem? Guy Lewis couldn't coach. That's what you'll say about Westbrook. Melo, Paul George, Steven Adams, Westbrook couldn't make the playoffs? That guy can't lead. Folks, when I say Kevin Garnett, he won an MVP too. You don't care. First thing you think about is Celtics, KG, and a ring. When I say Derrick Rose, do you think MVP? Nah, broken down point guard. Kind of a bust, really. Karl Malone? Phi Slamma Jamma? MVPs don't mean the same thing for everybody. You can't even name how many Jordan had because he won so many championships. Yes, Russell Westbrook has an MVP. But 20 years from now at a bar, 20 years from now at an airport talking to a stranger, 20 years from now on a plane talking to a buddy, you'd be like, Russell Westbrook, remember that year they had all those good players and they couldn't make the playoffs? This is going to be unbelievable. You will never, ever, if you're Russell Westbrook, this will be your brand. It won't be the MVP. It won't be Kevin Durant leaving you. It'll be this. You have to win tonight. Let me tell you something. Let me show you teams right now in the Western Conference that play in the same tough Western Conference as Russell Westbrook. Utah is a 4 seed. Utah has Ricky Rubio at point. He can't shoot. A rookie at shooting guard. Undrafted Joe Ingles at forward. And Derek Favors, the number 3 pick years ago who's never panned out. That's 4 of their best 5 players. The New Orleans Pelicans have Anthony Davis, Etwan Moore, Darius Miller, Ian Clark, Rondo, and Emeka Okafor, who's out of the G League and for 4 years was out of any league. New Orleans could make it. Utah's a top seed. Westbrook, Paul George, Steven Adams, Melo don't make it? That MVP will not define Westbrook. The triple-double will not define him. Being on the best NBA team in league history that couldn't make the playoffs will define it. This is a rare, massive NBA brand-defining game in the regular season for a veteran NBA team where almost no games really matter. Sixers, Lakers, young teams, a lot of games matter. Part of the journey, part of the road trip. Neither has a chance to win a championship this year. Westbrook, Russell, I know everybody thinks I'm rooting against him. I'm not. Because I think if he misses the playoffs, he'll never be the same as a player or a person. I hope OKC gets in. I like sports. I'd love to see him open with Houston or Golden State. So last week, late in the week, there was an event that happened. It actually wasn't scheduled. Conor McGregor went sort of nuts at the Barclays Center a couple days before the big UFC card, which I watched Saturday. Story today is Floyd Mayweather is going to fight in the UFC. It appears to be happening. Dana White quoted as saying, it's going to happen, Floyd will fight. And for the first time, I actually believe it. Yes, Conor freaked out on Thursday, otherwise known as the single most talked about day outside of the Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight in UFC history. Here's the thing about sports. I don't like Conor McGregor, and I don't like Floyd Mayweather. But I can separate art from the artist. And I'm not telling you to. But I can watch a movie if I think the lead actress or the lead actor's a jerk. I watch football all the time, and I don't necessarily respect all the players and the things they believe in and the things they've done. But for the first time, I actually believe Mayweather's going to fight, better than 50% chance. Because right now, WrestleMania, talked about. Boxing, talked about. UFC, not really talked about. Dana White needs Floyd Mayweather, and Dana White knows Thursday at the Barclays Center was not a bad thing for the UFC. In the history of the sport, it was the second most talked about event. A guy throwing a bike rack at a bus and injuring people. I'm not pro or anti-UFC, but when people freaked out about, my takeaway remains, Mayweather and Conor McGregor, if they fought Friday night, 99% of my audience would watch. I don't pay my athletes to be babysitters. I don't elect my athletes like politicians. They are entertainers, period. Mayweather, don't like him. Look at his history. Gross. Conor, juvenile, a bully, Thursday embarrassing. But I'll tell you this. I sat with a group of people Saturday night and watched the UFC fights. And you know what people are talking about? God, I hope Mayweather fights Conor McGregor. And nobody in that room really liked either. It's your choice. Can you separate art from artist? Michael Jordan, gambling, infidelity, divorce, punched the teammate, still sells more shoes than any basketball player. And people in L.A., after Colorado, still stood and cheered for Kobe. I've made a decision. I pay for tickets, and you entertain me. I'll separate art from artist, regardless if I really don't like either artist. All right, coming up next, for years and years I was told a group of people were going to be stars, and I never believed it. But something is happening, and this kid is real, and he's not going away. And one city in this country is really, really going to be surprised by who it is. That's coming up. The idea of falling into bed at night has taken a whole new meaning since I started sleeping on a Casper mattress 3 years ago. The engineers at Casper have really created an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience. It's 3 unique mattresses. You sleep cool and comfortable year-round. 36 different pressure points that relieve pressure. They're designed with zone support to coddle and comfort your every move. And right now, they'll let you sleep on it for over 3 months. Ship it for free. Don't like it? Money back. Take it away. Ship it for free. It's called the 100-Night Sleep Challenge. Casper.com code HERD. The code gets you $50 off select mattresses. Terms and conditions apply. Just go to the site for details. Casper.com code HERD.
When you hear Domino's, you think pizza. But we're more than that. We're mouth